Here I am with a brand new indie showcase for June 2025. It rounds up some of the most intriguing indie RPGs and strategy games that have recently appeared on my blog, whether through news updates, new announcements, or introductory overviews. Just like last month, I've gathered 15 titles that absolutely belong on your wish list. Missing out on them would be a serious mistake. Let's kick things off with Hellslave II. Judgment of the Archon, the second entry in the series developed by Ars Goetia with support from renowned publisher Dear Villagers. The first game delivered a dark narrative arc that had players forging pacts with a demon of their choice to fight back against the infernal forces overrunning Earth, brought to life with illustrations that Berserk fans would instantly appreciate. This story-driven approach was paired with exploration segments and a classic-style combat system, first-person turn-based battles governed by a time bar mechanic that kept the action flowing. The sequel builds on all of that, promising even deeper mechanics, but this time it's not just the forces of hell you'll be facing. Archons, celestial beings descended from heaven to cleanse the world, are entering the fray. Personally, I can't wait to get my hands on it, as the first game was a standout. Set for 2026 on PC, staying in that same dark fantasy vein, there's GrimKeep, an RPG developed by Resolution Games, yes, the team behind DeMeo, and the recently announced tabletop crossover DeMeo X Dungeons & Dragons. Battle-marked, GrimKeep features a dice-based combat system, but what really stands out is the visual style and the top-tier design of both monsters and characters. At its core, we're looking at a roguelite RPG with unlockable characters, a variety of progression elements, and a synergy system that could turn out to be genuinely compelling. There's no release date yet, likely because the studio's main focus is still on DeMeo, but I'll be keeping an eye out for any updates.
I came to this city chasing the American dream.
Another intriguing title, announced somewhat unexpectedly, is the tactical roguelite RPG Nightmare Frontier, developed by Ice Code Games, the creators of Hard West. It appears to borrow from the combat system of their most recent project, Rogue Waters, meaning battles lean more toward tactical puzzles where you'll combine push, harpoon, and similar abilities in strategic combos. Instead of setting sail, this time you'll be diving into missions across a ruined alternate version of 1900s America. Expect supernatural horrors in a setting steeped in decay, a backdrop that gives this title real weight. To lift the heavy atmosphere we've had so far, let's shift gears with Avante. Atlantis. This advanced war-style strategy game from Poncho Studios brings the battle for Atlantis to PC screens. Yes, in this game, the legendary city has mysteriously re-emerged and powerful factions are clashing to claim it. The combat system sticks closely to the classic from Nintendo, but spices things up with a dice mechanic that introduces a layer of unpredictability. Notably, Avante, Atlantis features both a single-player campaign and multiplayer modes, local or online, for up to 4 players. And it might just be in multiplayer where the game truly shines. There's a demo available now with a full release expected in 2026. Still sticking to the same genre, tactical battles on compact maps with loads of unit variety, but this time with monkeys as your protagonists. Next up is Apes Warfare, a colorful and potentially riotous strategy game developed by GigaQuests and Stoic Ent. Here, a squad of monkeys goes head-to-head against human armies on grid-based maps. Don't be fooled into thinking the apes are at a disadvantage. They're heavily armed with tanks, bazookas, aircraft, naval units, and much more. A demo is currently available, and the full game is expected to launch later this year. Following that is a title I admittedly covered a bit late on TBL, Tactichord Glam Strategy, developed by Ichigo Ichie. This is a tactical RPG where battles are fought through the power of music. One standout feature is the ability to drop your band members mid-game, true to the unpredictable nature of rock stars, potentially turning them into future enemies. The game will be featured at the upcoming Indie Game Dungeon on June 12th and might launch with a demo. No release date has been announced yet. Next on the list is Prometheus Wept, which longtime readers might recognize from earlier indie roundups. After losing track of it for a while, I was glad to see a news update from developer Timeslip Softworks. The game is officially entering early access on June 13th. That alone makes it worth bringing back into the spotlight. Prometheus Wept is a CRPG set in a world brought to its knees by a catastrophic digital collapse. Society has crumbled, and in this fractured landscape, players will engage in both physical and digital tactical combat, complete with hacking mechanics that require you to infiltrate and manipulate systems and devices. With early access just days away, we won't have to wait long to see what this RPG is truly made of.
In a simultaneous battle occurring in the physical world. Battle it out in action point, turn-based combat with melee, ranged and explosive weapons, aimed and special attacks, powerful perk-based abilities, interrupts and more. Destroy cover to expose enemies and exploit the primal forces of fire, water and electricity to your advantage. Choose from 7 stats, 17 skills and many perks. Build your team by recruiting exceptional individuals, each with a unique set of perks. In Prometheus Wept, your choices don't just result in different text, they determine your allies and enemies, provide advantages in combat, and affect the difficulty of each act's finale. Craft weapons, armour, gadgets, and combat stims, whose quality is based on that of the components used and your skill. If you are familiar with my last game, Vigilantes, which has a very positive rating on Steam on over 260 reviews, Prometheus Wept shares much common ground, yet offers a deeper, more refined experience.
Next up is Kumitantei Old School Slaughter by Mango Factory, a gripping fusion of retro anime aesthetics, murder mystery adventure, and card-based courtroom combat. 16 students are imprisoned in the decaying Janus Institute, forced into a sinister apathy experiment. Inspired by classics like Danganronpa and 80s Japanese ADV games, players must explore a richly detailed bunker, investigate brutal murders, and battle through tense card debates and retro-styled minigames to uncover the truth. It looks like a nostalgic yet brutal love letter to old-school mystery RPGs. Release window set for Q3 2025 on PC. When the cat's away, the mice will play. That's the spirit behind Conquerland, developed by Virtual Fable. In this roguelike deck builder, the king has died without an heir and a power struggle erupts. You're thrown into the chaos, battling for control in a visually striking world. The game's unique art style is worth keeping an eye on, and with the release date set for July 31st, 2025, it won't be long before you can dive in. Now onto one of the most promising titles in this roundup, at least in my humble opinion. It's called Never's End, a tactical RPG from Hypersect that looks seriously impressive. You play as an immortal spirit brought back to life in a dying world, and instead of recruiting heroes, you possess the living, sacrificing them to push back the creeping darkness. It's a bold take on party-based tactics, blending elemental terrain manipulation with moral weight in every decision. I'm especially intrigued by how the world reacts dynamically to your spells, draining rivers, stirring winds, freezing enemies, and granting a lot of freedom. There's an impressive ambition here, and I'm curious to see how far it goes, but there's no release date yet. Another title aiming to bring something fresh to the table is Lotus: Lost Memories by Phoenix Digital. This RPG blends traditional gameplay with the visual novel structure following Atsushi, a young samurai on a deeply personal journey. The narrative unfolds through detailed pixel art and features the battles enhanced with quick time events, adding a layer of tension and immersion to the experience. The combat looks simple at first glance, but the timing mechanics add a nice layer of interactivity. The release date is set for the third quarter of 2025, and you can try the demo.
Elevator inbound!
Might be the staff.
Lights out.
Another title with a particularly original setting is Critical Shift, a tactical story-driven RPG developed by Rhino Tales. Set in a sci-fi horror world filled with cybernetic units, demons, and desperate humans, the story unfolds inside a research facility in Antarctica where something has gone terribly wrong. The game channels multiple vibes. Resident Evil vibes are strong alongside elements from Miasma Chronicles and the recent Chains of Freedom. Combat is turn-based while exploration unfolds in real time. What remains to be seen is the depth of the tactical systems and the narrative execution, but it's already clear that this one belongs on your wish list. No release date has been announced yet.
Holy shit! Fall back!
Go, go, go!
Close call, but it was worth it.
This will come in handy.
It knows our weaknesses. We need to act fast. Contact! We thought we had it all figured out. We were prepared for anything. But this place rewrites the rules.
Next is a project that feels like it's fueled by pure, unfiltered passion, Age of Tribulation, developed by Apostle Games. This game promises an ambitious scope with an open world, survival mechanics and a combat system deeply rooted in genre classics. So far, we've only seen glimpses of gameplay shared by the developer, but there's definite potential here. I'm eager to see more to get a better grasp of what it can deliver. We're nearing the end of this indie showcase, and the second to last title on the list is VIractal. World of Viractalia, which instantly gives off that curious board game meets RPG vibe. It is an RPG where players navigate procedurally generated maps by rolling dice and building decks to influence combat and exploration. The game blends card-based battles with dice-based movement, introducing a DP system that allows unused movement points to be converted into a strategic resource. Events, encounters, and progression are shaped by both choice and chance, offering a different experience with each run. It supports both solo and online cooperative play, featuring a collection-based progression system. And last on the list is one of the most recent announcements featured on these pages, Sanguis, the latest project from Lightbulb Crew, the developers behind Other Side, a name many of you will recognize. Once again, the studio places a strong emphasis on visual design and concept work, and from what we've seen so far, Sanguis looks like it's shaping up to match the high aesthetic standards of its predecessor. As for the combat system, there's not much concrete info yet, only a few screenshots shared on Steam, but early details suggest a system similar to Other Side, where skills and maneuvers manipulate a turn order bar for tactical advantage. That wraps up this edition, some of the most intriguing indie RPGs and strategy titles from the past few weeks.